Well, as Mikel Arteta is looking to really rebuild his squad to see it that he competes for 4 trophies next season, he has gone ahead to really put Mason Mount onto the list of players that he might think of to sign into the summer. I'm not saying that it's really a given that's going to bring him on, but he has been put onto the list of the many that he really wants to be playing in at Arsenal. Welcome to Rokani Media Football. How are you guys and where are you watching us from? I go by the names of Rokani David. Smash the like button, comment and share. If at all you're watching us for the very first time, endeavor to subscribe to this channel so as not to miss out on stories that we do upload in here on a daily. Now, we are talking a little bit of Emily Smith-Rowe, one of the players that is being rumored to having fallen down to the pecking order of Mikel Arteta, and he might find himself out of the team of Arsenal or being loaned. And Fabrizio Romano has gone ahead to really drop a very huge hint onto that scenario of this player leaving Emirates and London Conley. Then lastly, William Gallas, the former captain of Arsenal, has come out and really spoken about the Zinchenko Tierney situation that is really having divided opinions amongst all Arsenal fans all over the globe. Now, Mason Mount is the story that Charles Watts has gone ahead and really dropped onto our desk. And I said, who am I not to go on and really bring you this story of Mason Mount? Arsenal are monitoring Mason Mount's position. Declan Rice is understood to be Arsenal's priority target, but sources have confirmed to Goal that Mount, who is expected to leave Chelsea in the summer, is also being discussed. Now, Arsenal monitoring Mason Mount is really good, and the big question that anyone should ask himself is he an upgrade at Arsenal or a downgrade? To me, I believe, according to the players that Arsenal are really having, Mason Mount is an upgrade in those positions. Even if you want to play a single pivot of Thomas Partey or Declan Rice or Caicedo, provided Caicedo and Declan Rice make it to Arsenal, you'll be really good to go with Mason Mount in that position, meaning that you'll be having 2 attacking midfielders who are really good on the ball and can even score goals, because Mason Mount, I think, can outscore every midfielder, every central midfielder of Arsenal, because he's a very good player at scoring in goals. When you look at his stats on really scoring in goals, he has gone ahead to really put in lots of stats in scoring goals for the team of Chelsea. When you look at his stats, though this season has not gone ahead to play very many games, in the Champions League he played 9 games and scored 0 goals. But last season in the Champions League he played 7 games and scored 1 goal. Then this season in the Premier League has gone ahead to play 24 games, 3 goals and 2 assists. But last season, I think, was one of his best seasons at Chelsea, because he scored 11 goals and put up 10 assists. This is what I'm telling you about this player, that if at all you can add those 20 goal involvements onto the midfield of Arsenal next season, that will be something great. And Mikel Arteta knows that he needs competitive players. Mason Mount is a pure competitive player. He'll come in and put in the shift that everyone would always love to really have at Arsenal. And trust me, you might say, I don't start him at Arsenal, but even if you're not starting him at Arsenal, what if you're having him on the bench and you're taking off Granit Xhaka and bring on Mason Mount? That's the big question, and I think you can all agree with me that he's a kind of player that you'll always need at the team of Arsenal, if at all need there be. You see, he's good, creates chances, and is good at scoring, but one thing you'll know about Mason Mount is that he's that player that will give you a drive going forward, and he never really gives up. If at all you remember the Champions League goal that Chelsea scored against Man City, he's the man that really formed that line-breaking pass through the line or the defensive line of Chelsea, and he really found himself creating an assist for Kai Havertz, and that's the goal that made Chelsea lift the Champions League. If at all you're talking about the winning mentality, he has it. He has won lots of trophies for Chelsea. He won a Champions League, the World Club Cup, the Super Cup, and very many other trophies that's going to hit lift for Chelsea. And him wanting out of Chelsea, it's simple. He believes that the team and the managers that are really at Chelsea are not going to give him a chance to really find himself in a position of really keeping himself at the club of Arsenal. But to me, he's a very decent player, if at all Arsenal can get him. And one will tell me that, Rokani, when you're on United Matters channel, you told us that you don't want United to sign in Mason Mount. You know why? I think United has loads and lots of players that play into that position. Bruno Fernandes, Eriksson, Sabitzer, there is Donny van de Beek, and there came Jadon Sancho sometimes. Erik ten Hag plays him into the central attacking midfield position, and that's the position where he really plays and plays better and better for the team of Manchester United. So I think for Arsenal, he really fits that team. He really fits that team, and he can command a starting position in the midfield of Arsenal. Why? He comes in with a lot of pedigree and a lot of history onto him and a lot of pressure onto him. Now, let's talk about the price. I think he can go for like 50 or 60 million pounds. Though he's left with 1 year on his contract at Chelsea, he can find himself into that ilk. Do you know why? He's an English player, and these English players are really expensive. If Arsenal had to pay 45 million pounds plus 50 million plus 5 million pounds of add-ons for Jesus from Man City with a year left on his contract, then you expect them to pay 10 million pounds more for a player like Mason Mount, and that will take their tally of expenditure close to 200 million pounds on just 3 midfielders. That is, if at all they get in Caicedo. You know, Caicedo is valued at 80 million pounds. Declan Rice, 80 million pounds. That is 160 million pounds. When you add on the 50 or 60 for Mason Mount, that will go in 200 million pounds. And that's where the question lies. And that's where I will leave it here for you to let us know. Do you think Arsenal can find themselves in a position of really spending 210 million pounds on 2 midfielders, yet the other positions are really lacking in their team? Because it's really tricky, and it really go into history that a team of Arsenal is always gonna hate to spend or outspend themselves the next summer, because their best spend was 150 million pounds in the summer of 2021. That's what Arsenal really went ahead to spend big. So for me, Mason Mount to Arsenal is really a very good player, and I would really welcome him at the club of Arsenal. Now, as Mason Mount comes in through, this has gone ahead to raise rumors of Emile Smith Rowe on whether he's really going to be kept at the club of Arsenal, because there will be a lot of players that are really ahead of him, and can he come out and outcompete them? Fabrizio Romano has gone ahead and told us the following: that despite some speculation over his future, I'm sure Arsenal trust Emile Smith Rowe for present and future. Mikel Arteta and people in the board always trust Emile Smith Rowe. He's not playing much at the moment, but it's also fair to say that he returned after an injury. And the starting 11 is very clear this season, so it's not easy to break into the team in these conditions. I'm sure parties will speak at the end of the season to decide on the next steps, but Arsenal trusts Emile Smith Rowe for sure. So Arteta still trusts Emile Smith Rowe, and in the due course of time, he won't get enough playing time, you know, and his return was too early for the next season. I'm one of the believers in the player who goes by the names of Emile Smith Rowe. I really believe in him, and I know the qualities that he really has as a player. He can really succeed at Arsenal. He can be a complete success at Arsenal, because he really adds a lot of meaning to the attack line of Arsenal. He's one of those players that you would bet on really getting you onto the score sheet every time you feel like you want one. He can create assists, and he's not a selfish player, according to me. So it keeps him in a position of really coming out every time to really shine when he has really gotten a good preseason. So I think he's just one preseason away from really finding himself to the levels where he was last season, and he needs to get himself back firing like never before, because you need Emile Smith Rowe. But his former manager that really gave him his first Arsenal debut, that is Unai Emery at Aston Villa, looks like he's interested in the player, and he might really get him, to me, on loan. Why? If Arsenal get in players like Caicedo, Declan Rice, Mason Mount, that means there will be another three additional players in the midfield. That will make it hard for Emile Smith Rowe to come in through and really break in through, you know. Unless otherwise, Arsenal believes that he can compete with and Martinelli onto the left attacking side of the midfield, then Jesus to battle it out with Trossard onto the centre forward role. But if those three come in through, I think even Emile Smith-Rowe will be a little bit afraid to go in and really tussle it out with these players, because these are world-class players. According to me, their technique is really better, and they've gone ahead to play at levels that Emile Smith-Rowe has not gone ahead to play at to prove the world. But it's all about him finding himself match fit and proving his worth in the preseason. If at all he proves his worth in the preseason, I believe no one wouldn't guarantee him a chance or grant him a chance to play in that highly anticipated season of Arsenal of 2023-2024 down there. Now, William Gallas, the former captain of Arsenal, has gone ahead and really thrown in loads of quotes on the Zinchenko situation at Arsenal. And William Gallas had the following to say: if you look at the left back, I'm not sure what will happen with Tierney in the summer, but if he leaves, then they'll need to add another player that can come in and compete with Zinchenko. He needs to be under more pressure. I don't think he's brilliant. He's a brilliant defender, but we all know what he can do with the ball. You also need a top-class right-back. This season, Ben White has helped out there, and it works against the smallest teams. And he's right. He's right. Let me start about Ben White. You know, Ben White has been decent. He has a couple of goals and a couple of assists this season, but I think if you look at the likes of Fresneda, that Mikel Arteta wants to sign, and the player's gone ahead to really hail Mikel Arteta and commend him for the work, for the job well done at Arsenal in his third season, you see a very huge difference. Going forward is really one of the main components of a right back. So you need to be balancing the two, the offensive side and the... You have to be able to balance the two, the offensive side and the defensive side. And as it stands, Arsenal aren't great when it comes to really commanding what we call the offensive side, especially when they are playing with Ben White. So that calls them in, that calls out Arsenal to come in through and obviously put in a player that can put in a shift more than Ben White, especially going forward. And secondly, the beauty of all of that is if Arsenal get in a decent right back, they will find themselves in a position of being able to get Ben White compete with William Saliba sometimes, or even play Ben White as a right back, because they know that even if Tomiyasu is injured, they have a player who can come in and play there perfectly. And it leaves Arsenal in a situation of knowing what exactly to do when they are really having shortage. They've gone ahead to see Saliba getting injured and Tomiyasu injured. So that is a very right call. But for Zinchenko and Tierney, to me, I believe it's all over for Tierney at Arsenal, unless otherwise Mikel Arteta uses a magical tongue to convince him to start the club of Arsenal. But I think it's out. With the likes of Man City joining the queue of teams that really want to sign the player, I call it over. I call it over. I'm sorry to say so, but I see it as a done and dusted affair, because this player is really wanting to play. 25, 26 years of age, you would love to really go ahead and really play in very many games, but Arsenal is not utilizing him and giving him enough playing time that he really deserves. That is a player known as Tierney. And for Zinchenko, I understand they need a better defensive and offensive left back, but Zinchenko offers a load that has gone ahead to really revolutionize that left back position of Arsenal, that has gone ahead to leave the likes of Tierney wanting out of the club immediately. So as it stands, Arsenal is really doing the great to put themselves in a position of really winning very many games. And as it stands, we are here to let you know that Man City is leading Fulham by 2-1, United leading Aston Villa by 1-0. So let's wait and see how the full 90 is going to go, and I call upon your reactions in the comment section below about the following players. That is Mason Mount to Arsenal. Then what do you think about it? The interest has been confirmed by Charles Watts, an Arsenal correspondent for Goal. Then we are having Emile Smith-Rowe. Mikel Arteta wants him to stay. And Zinchenko Tierney. What's your thoughts about that, and your thoughts onto the player known as Ben White and Zinchenko and Tierney, that triple affair? I sign out for now. See you later, and I cover you all in the precious blood of Jesus Christ. I sign out for now. Bye bye.